I don't understand corporate freaking craziness. But a lot of these SaaS companies, these software companies, they have like callers who set appointments, and then they have account execs who go on the appointment and close. So these callers, the frontline prospectors, these guys are called SDRs, sales development representatives. They're basically cold callers. They're just pounding away. It's like 1985. If you see these people, it's the same. It's exactly the same as it was. No. If you walked into a Bear Stearns office or a Lehman Brothers office in 1981, you know exactly where you are. I mean, it's like the
penny stock.
Oh my gosh! And then they're like the Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. They're in a bullpen and they're hammering, and it's like pass. Let me tell you something about passing. The only people that earn money by passing are NFL quarterbacks. And I don't see a number on your jersey. Now let's go ahead and pick up a couple thousand shares right now and run through the end zone together. K, like that was the close. Back in the day, the close was K. That's all you had to do. And I remember, because I was a broker.
Right,
I'm getting all excited now. Yeah, because back then, and we were learning from, see what happened was, remember the days where you used to have to call your mother, like on Mother's Day, and the phone company would make a big deal and they'd say, no charge between 8 and 9 or something. Used to be there were long distance charges, like for everything. You didn't call your family in Florida till after 8 o'clock because then the rates went down. Yeah, and if you had a call because you were someplace, everybody had these little signals. You would call up and let it ring twice and then hang up and then ring again, and that meant that you're okay. Nobody had to answer the phone, and you didn't have to say you didn't get those charges. Well, that all went away. Sprint came along, and that all went away. So all of a sudden, guys in California can have a Wall Street broker, and they were calling long distance, and so that was the world.
Changed everything.
The whole world changed with that technology. Now it's ChatGPT, but then it was flipping long distance. There was no charge for long distance, and everything changed. And so I learned from those guys, and boy, they were animals with those. But that's how these SDRs are now. Except they have 1,000 more rules.
An SDR makes how many calls a day? Would you say?
Well, with the
automatic dollars.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah.
That's so foreign to me.
Yeah. Well, so used to be when I was a broker, my goal was 60 dials an hour, and I do it for 6 hours. So my goal was 300 dials a day. 300 dials a day. And a lot of times people would double dial or back with Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns, when they were really doing it, you'd have a dialer. So the dialer would keep on dialing, and whatever picked up, they'd keep on dialing number, whatever picked up you took, and then they were dialing.
So you didn't even have to dial it.
Yeah, well, the real good brokers did that. I started as a dialer. Like that was my thing, Back then, what you needed to do was open 40 accounts for your broker. Like, let's say you're my broker, so I'd open up 40 accounts for you. Then they'd pay to get me licensed, and then I was broker. And
then that was how you proved your worth.
Yeah, but you open 40 accounts, not like, and each account had to be at least $10,000 at the time, whatever it was. Anyway, so this world, what an SDR does now is they have all this Salesforce and SalesLoft and all this, but they call it sales enablement software. So it dials for you, and then as soon as somebody answers, it opens up a page with that person, and you can put the notes on that page, and then it takes it to the next level. And if you press click, this is a good one, then it automatically enters it into a funnel and a sequence, so they'll get emails and texts, and you don't have to do anything. Everything's automated. But that's what, or it sets up the appointment. But that's what the SDR does. And then look at your mouth is agape. I mean, you're going to catch flies. This is good. Hey, get a load of this guy.
Oh my God. So I'm thinking in my brain, all the phone calls I'm getting, I'm trying to figure out which one of those, that's what's happening, right? Because
oh yeah, well it's all
some of them are spam, and it tells me some of them I don't. They're like, they're just calling, they're dialing for dollars, right?
Yeah, but with the crazy thing, it's such. Their challenge is this. There's 3 parts of marketing, and it's always three parts, and it's the same three parts, and it's been since, the first caveman broke his leg and he says, I can't hunt anymore. And so he says, hey, let me make a spear. And then he's got to start selling spears, and that's how he has to eat. And so it's the same. So there's your message, all right?
Right.
I got my spear is straight as an arrow. This thing will kill a water buffalo.
It's the baddest spear.
Yeah. So that's your message. And now your marketplace, so it's message. The second leg is the marketplace. Your marketplace is your target market. Don't sell this to a cook. A cook doesn't want your dang spear. Don't go after the spear. So people have gotten really good. And then the third part is the media. And so the media, so picture those three M's. It's message, marketplace, and media. And your media is just the delivery system of your message to the marketplace. Okay. Got it? So it used to be, hey, get over here, I got a spear for you. It used to be that. And then it was a telephone, or then it's email or regular mail social media or videos and all that stuff. So that's all just the delivery system. But if your message is crap and it's going to the wrong person, who cares how it's delivered? Right. So they spend so much time figuring out what the right delivery system is. But once you get the person, you're not a customer. All those spam things, dude, you're not a customer of that person. But what you do so well, and really the secret sauce of taking somebody from an SDR to $1 million producer, and you gotta understand, top salespeople are earning $1 million a year. You get into a nice software, business where it's constant, regular churning. They pay every month. You get into some sort of additional revenue business.
You're gardening as much as you're hunting.
Yeah.
You hunt and then you're able to garden.
Right. And so the difference between that is people who get their message right, very clear. If you are the type of person that has this, or this problem, you might want to see this video. That kind of message and so the person who's clicking on it is saying, oh, I know I have these problems, and so they're clicking. Now you got the right message to the right marketplace. You just got to figure out how to get there. So the people that take the time to figure that out, and then what you do so well is very quickly create those real relationships that last, that it's a worthy back and forth. I'm getting from you, getting from me. It's something where you're happy. Those people, you don't got to worry about selling because people are too busy buying, and that's what you've done.
But then a guy like me really struggles on the front end trying to do that cold call, right? So I spend a lot of time in my mind trying to figure out how to make that warmer. You
want the secret?
I want the secret.
That's working right now. What year is this? 2000? Where are we?
28.
Okay. 2020. Right now, like today, I'll tell you what's working.
All right.
Like filling up my appointment schedule. Like crazy. Hyper personalized videos directly to your target market. Let me tell you how to do it. Okay? Because the technology is there. Everybody knows how to make a video.
Right.
Even he knows how to make a video. You know how to make a video? Yeah. Everybody knows how to make a video. So the technology is there. What's missing is the scientific way that you're going to initially contact somebody and see if they're interested. So what you do is make a video. You could use LinkedIn, and you make a video explaining this. Like, I could do this. I got a way to help. It'll be telling you this exact conversation I could put on LinkedIn, saying this is what you need to do in 2023 that works. When you do that, about 20 people, 30 people, 50 people, I don't know, a dozen will like your page. Those people are more than likely connected with you. If they're not, you could connect with them.
Right.
They like you, they know you, they're all like. Once they like you and they know you and they're liking that particular topic, you have access to their inbox. So you send hey, I see that you liked this video. Something may have resonated with you. I made a short video to show you how other people are using it. If you're interested, and then you put the video link there, and then you say, if you're interested, let's set up a 15-minute chat sometime later this week. They click on that, they go to your video. On your video, there's a little message thing on how to get to your thing, and you're talking directly. It's like, hey, Steve, I see you clicked on this video. I really appreciate it. So hyper personalize, give you that value. And if you're interested, you'd click, and then we set up an appointment. By the way, if you're not interested, you don't click, we don't set up an appointment, and I lose no sleep over it. It's like zero rejection prospecting. In your face. I know, you're dumbfounded.
Yeah, so because they're going to contact you.
Yeah.
If they're interested.
And if they're not,
exactly what you want.
Right. See you later, potato.
But that second video is you're going to say in that video their name. It's a personalized video.
Totally personalized. Yeah, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll send you the link. I'll send anybody the link on how. I basically.
I'm clear. I got you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That's only one method. I mean, when was the last time you got a video email saying, "Hey, Steve, I want to give you this kind of value," or "I want to do that"? When was the last?
I think maybe one time.
One time. And how old are you? You're like 1,000, right?
1,000.
Yeah. I mean, you've been around since ever. Jesus, if Jesus came back, he'd talk. You know, I was thinking about. This is an odd thing. But I was, because with this whole virus situation that's been going around, you just let me talk. Just say 2-3 words and I'll go. This whole I love it. My wife just left. She's staying at the lake for the rest of the week, and so I'm alone. So
you got nothing. You got me.
Yeah, that's right. She usually has to put up with this. So this whole virus situation. I've been reading a lot about history and all that stuff, and I got to think, if Alexander the Great came back, and went to Greece, he'd be like, where the heck am I? He goes, they don't speak the same language, they're not empowering him. He's like, what's going on here, And if Julius Caesar came back to Rome, he would say, I don't even know this. I don't know this language. I don't know. But
what happened to the chariot?
Yeah. What happened to what happened? We don't. It's like this size. We don't know what's going on. It's not the same place. But if Moses came back and came to Israel, they still speak the same language. I mean, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm right at home. My beard's a little longer." It's the same. I don't know why I thought about that, but that's the crazy stuff that goes through your mind.
So that means that you got to adapt, but some things are the same.
Yeah. And what always stays the same is that message, marketplace, and media. And so the only thing that's changed with that whole time is the media, is that delivery system, is that the way that you share that message. And right now, people have no time. The beautiful thing about sending video, I call it virtual sales, but it's really virtual prospecting or whatever, because you can really do anything with it, is that they get to watch it and they get to learn from it on their time, not yours. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I get an appointment set up or a sale made or a new client meeting that happened maybe 6 months ago. It doesn't matter, but it's like, oh, it's still there. And
6 months later.
With the software that they have now, and this is, I'm not going to name any particular one because they all do it. Everybody's caught up with everybody. But what happens is when somebody clicks on your video, it gives you a notification. Oh, there it is. It could be 5 months later. Oh, there it is. He's watching the thing.
So LinkedIn's the best way to do that. So let me ask you this. So if you're coaching somebody in sales, how do you tell them to expand their LinkedIn presence? Do you tell them to go follow more people, to go invite more? I mean, what's your strategy on LinkedIn?
To be much, first of all, you have to get 500. Okay. I mean, if you don't have five, so
you're a baby.
Yeah. So the first 500, you be very indiscriminate. You just, whoever, click, 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 click. So on your phone, it's a lot easier. Click, 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 click. So until they say, hey, too much, you're not allowed to do it anymore. Then you stop and then
come back tomorrow and
click,
do it
click,
again.
click, click, click. Yeah, you got to get your 500. Then you got to put out some content.
Okay.
Always, and put out, and this is what I train everybody, because this is the first thing that they're afraid of. What if I give away too much? Then what are they going to be? Yeah. So you give away
Everything.
Everything you got.
Y'all hear that? Give away all your knowledge, because then you look like you're the stud.
Yeah, and it's not like you're the only one that thought of it. You know, you think it's your. Believe me, everybody else knows it. One of the great things it's no longer that we could be truly amazed by things anymore, until like ChatGPT and AI. I mean, that's freaking people out. You know, and it's just amazing. And I think a lot of people come to the realization computers are just smarter than us now. It's an ugly feeling, but it's just true. So you're not.
Well, it's got your brain and my brain, not just my brain, right?
And
your knowledge and my knowledge.
And everybody else's for the last 25 years. You know, so everybody's got all that stuff.
So LinkedIn, get your people on there.
Yeah, get 500. Come hell or high water. Figure out how to get 500. Then start putting out content. And when you put out content in your field.
Okay.
And
is there a call to action in the content?
No, you're trying to strike a chord. You're trying to see what works and what doesn't work.
So you're playing around with different educational type videos? Or?
Yeah, but snippets to educational videos that come from, if you really want the whole strategy, you want the whole strategy?
Well, just give me the piece.
Okay, yeah, you can make long form educational videos and put them on YouTube. And then you cut up little pieces of that, and that's what you use for LinkedIn.
Yeah, so minute or less type little videos.
Yeah, but of your good stuff. And the people that like it and the people that are interested in it, those are your people that you connect with. And you see who, and then you see there'll be some commonalities with those people that like your stuff. And now you start building your tribe. And you start building yourself.
Do you go out and search for people that could be in your tribe and ask them to be your buddy, so to speak?
Well, people who would be... You want to search out people who would be your customer. That marketplace that we talked about.
Okay.
I'm doing this because I make triangles. It's message marketplace. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that marketplace, those people who would be your customers. If you're a sales trainer, you're just going to associate with other sales trainers, but you don't really want them. You want the people that want to buy the sales trainers.
Right.
So you specialize, let's say you deal with manufacturing companies. You want owners of manufacturing companies. So that's who
sales managers and manufacturing companies, regional managers and
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And when they connect with you, hyper personalized video
that's so cool.
Directly to them.
I never thought about that.
Oh my gosh. You'll be amazed.
So you see them on LinkedIn, you just pull your phone out and you say, "Hey John, man, I appreciate you hitting my LinkedIn. I'd really love
if you're interested in
that, blah blah blah." Bam.
Yeah, if you were interested in that, you might be interested in this.
Is Facebook any different?
No, you know, use them all. I post on Facebook, but I don't. Social media is, you know, it's like fire. You know, it's your best friend, but your worst enemy. You know, it keeps you warm, but it'll kill you.
I mean, what would you do if you weren't doing LinkedIn? What would be the second thing you'd do?
Well, I just want to, on a whole, the rule is to use social media. Don't let it use you.
Yeah.
And it could very easily do that. So, yeah, no, depending on your product, this is my simplistic way that my brain can handle it. LinkedIn is with B2B, Facebook is B2C. So if you're selling a product to the consumer, if you're selling a home service type of product, if you're selling mortgages and things, you want to be on Facebook. LinkedIn is for businesses. Again, that's very broad.
Anything coming up to replace LinkedIn? Business-wise?
You know what?
I don't see it.
Well, this is what kills me. You could use other tools to make it better, but the fact of the matter is, what was the most amount of homes you sold in a year? Or the most amount of mortgages you did personally?
Probably 100 and something.
Okay, 100 and something, and you were dealing with, these are all new people?
Ooh, well, me, it's hard to say because they might be new to do a mortgage with me, but they might not be new in the relationship.
So I mean,
I would say Last year, 60 new, 40 not.
Okay, 60, 40 not. Okay, you know how many people are on LinkedIn? 1 billion. There's 1 billion people, and like everybody
In the world.
Yeah. So let's say just right in your area that you could service maybe 15 million, and they're all on LinkedIn. The hell are you looking for something new for? I mean, if you're in most consultants and coaches,
I got you.
most
Yeah.
consultants.
You haven't cut that grass yet.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Consultants and coaches, if they had 6 clients, like if they had 6 companies they were working with, that's too much. That's like their limit. The guy I spoke with today on my other, I don't know why I'm screaming at you. I mean, you didn't do anything bad.
It's just the way we are. All I know is you make me feel good because I'm usually the loudest guy in the room, and I know that you're louder than me.
Oh, God. See, I talked to a guy today. He's busy as all get out. He's trying to keep his marriage, in line because it's a new wife and all that stuff. And he says, I had 7 clients last year, and that was too much. So he wants, 3 to 5. There's 1 billion. Most people are like that. I could live with 3 to 5 clients for the year.
What he needs to do is
Don't-
double his rate and see who stays.
Don't look for something new yet. When I was going back to stockbroker, I remember at the time Walmart was a hot stock. And what's the next Walmart? And I remember saying to the guy, listen, the next Walmart is Walmart. Let's ride this mother until it's done. So
It's still riding.
yeah,
man.
you don't have to find something. Now, if you're starting off brand new, then you play
All right,
around.
so I know you've owned some small businesses.
Yeah.
So what did you learn about that? We got a lot of entrepreneurs that follow this podcast.
Yeah. The definition, I'll tell you right now, here's one of those DJisms, all right? The definition of a business is having a customer. That's it. I mean, that's where it starts and that's where it ends. You could have, because I coach a lot of people and they take me to their offices and there's like beautiful, there's paneled walls and books. I read all these books and here's my studio, the whole thing. I'm like,
Where's the customer?
yeah, what's paying for this, So you can have, I had a lawn care company. We did weed control and fertilization. It was actually a franchise, lawn doctor. I had a bunch of different, we're actually the biggest in the Southeast. It was cool, but all we did was weed control and fertilization. No cutting, no mowing, no blowing, just weed control and fertilization. One day we get a call from a neighborhood, 176 townhouses. They wanted us to cut, mow, and blow, as well as the other thing. They said, do you do that? I said, absolutely. 176 houses. And so what I did was, I didn't have a business, but I had the customer, so I could create a business. And I created a separate business for that. The opposite is getting all the business stuff worked out and having no customer. You got, as my dad used to say in Yiddish, a good word for nothing is gunish. He says, you got gunish. And so
what about people that are so many mom and pop shops, I mean, one of the things I always think about is people start up hobby businesses. They're not really, they never did any market analysis to see if anybody wanted whatever it was they just love.
Yeah.
Like women open up a clothing store and buy the clothes that they love, but they never did a market analysis to see if anybody else wanted that, right?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of these hobby businesses and, I'm trying to, so how do you coach somebody out of that hobby business into a real business?
Well, your first thing that you said, it's almost kind of selfish and conceited to think you're going to come up with an idea and foist it upon the public.
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
So you really want to do that market analysis and find out. And
where's the need?
Yeah, where or if there is a need. So I'll do 2 sides of it. One is on the B2B side, and the other will be on the retail side. Business to consumer or to
BC.
home. Yeah. But you have to, the way to find out whether or not your product will sell or if people want it is if they buy it. So never even attempt to go to an idea if you haven't sold it first. So, I mean, if you sold a couple of hobby businesses.
So you mean don't get into a business that you don't already have some knowledge about? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, that people are willing to trade their hard-earned money for whatever.
But if you bought a franchise for a local area, how would you know that franchise is going to work? You'd have to do some marketing.
Well, what type of franchise?
I don't know.
Like a restaurant?
It could be a restaurant or lawn care or, I don't know,
Yeah. Well,
gutter business.
Well, those businesses are there. Every business can work. Every business can be wildly successful with the right marketing. Okay, so if there's a vast difference between a restaurant and something. One is getting people to come to you, and the other one is them paying you to go to them. And so there's vast difference. So in the businesses where you want to go to them, and it's something new and it's not a franchise, but you want to test it out. Let's say it's a service business. Let's say you have a marketing plan that you'd like to sell to somebody, or a coaching, or some sort of service that you want to teach somebody how to do something, an educational type of thing.
Okay.
People love educational businesses because they're free. You just come up, there's no cost of goods sold. You go on a site like Fiverr or Upworks or one of those things, and you try to sell it for $5, or try to sell it for $10. And if you got a product that nobody's going to buy for $5 or $10, don't go into it.
That's great.
You know what I mean? You gotta give stuff away for free or for almost free at the beginning.
Going. You got to find out where that magic number is, right?
Right. Yeah, but you want to start if there's a need for it at all. If there's a need for it at all, because sometimes you have a great idea. You know, I have this new fork. You know, and I get this great fork that you don't have to hold. It magically eats the food or whatever it is. But you know, it's a cool idea. But is anyone going to buy this thing? I don't know where I came up with that.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Same. But with a franchise out there, if you're in a local market, local marketing is the best. It's so it works so well now because people are so torched with digital marketing. They're so worn out by everybody understands, you know, all the triggers and the clickbait and all that stuff, and they feel foolish. You ever click on something and you feel like an idiot? Oh, they got me again, those bastards. You never, and so that differentiated with like a real handwritten letter. Holy crap, you have no idea how well handwritten letters work. Thank you cards. Oh my gosh. My son has a business, Junk Generals, junk removal.
Yeah.
And he started it when he was young, and he's grown it up. It's a nice business, but he's still 1-2 guys that he works with. He just keeps it very personal. Every time he does a job, he sends them a thank you card. Every time he sends them a thank you card, he has a little card in it that says, hey, if you'd like to help us, write this in next door, or leave us a thing on Facebook, or blah, blah, blah. And every time he sends that with the letter, they take a picture of the letter, they put it on Nextdoor, they feel good about themselves because they're helping him out, and he gets 6 more calls. Every time. People love that stuff.
So, you know, my theory is that nobody has a guy anymore. Everybody, used to be, your dad would say, go down and see Johnny. He's going to cut your hair, right?
That's right.
Go to Sally. She's our dry cleaner. But that's one of the things I realize about community-based business is people don't have a guy.
Yeah.
And if you can be that guy, then people talk about you.
That's my dad. So my dad's like a Jewish immigrant from France. Lost his dad in the Holocaust, like in Auschwitz, like taken off the street. So this guy came here, and so he only had a 6th grade education, but he loved America. And when I was a little kid, he said, Danny, in this country, that's how he would give me his advice. I knew something was good when he, Danny, in this country. Oh, remind me to tell you another good one. But he says, in this country, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then, you need to have a guy. And then a few years later, he sent to me and he said, remember I said that to you? He said, forget about that. He goes, you become the guy that other people want to know. That's America. It gives you the chance to
That's so
become
true.
the guy. And so when you start a business, you got to become the guy or gal,
Right.
you know, who they know they can trust. What I would do for just an auto mechanic that I can trust. Oh my gosh, how far would I drive for an auto mechanic that I could trust? You know, I was talking to a doctor yesterday, or the office manager of this place that we're going to do business with. By the way, impossible to get through to doctors unless hyper-focused videos. Unbelievable. I'm getting in front of doctors. So anyway, so I'm talking to this guy, and he has a concierge business.
Practice.
A concierge practice. He and another doctor, and there's a yearly fee, and so your physical is free or what have you, and he has a waiting list of tons of people that can come there. He wasn't not going to do it, but people use him forever. He's got people flying in from all parts of the country, as far as California, to come in for their yearly physical. He spends an hour and a half with them. He's their doctor. They got a problem, you text your doctor. You say that people don't have a guy, but people are craving to the guy.
That's the key.
And once they have the guy,
They're in.
they brag. I remember driving with a guy, he was a client of mine. I was very young, he was a stockbroker again, and I'm driving him someplace, and I never forgot this. This was one of those like life-changing moments. I forgot about it until right now. It was very life-changing. And we're driving up on the highway, probably on 85. I'm driving up in 85, and there was a big billboard of an attorney, one of those slip and fall attorneys or whatever. Big bill. And he looked up and he said to me with like pride and just like, like he was feeling very magnanimous about himself. He says, "See that guy? That's my attorney. That's my guy." Like that. So like he was bragging at the other guy's thing.
Yeah.
He's got a guy in his phone.
Yes. And the people that don't have him as their guy all think, man, who's that weirdo? Put
Right.
a picture up there, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Because they don't know him yet.
But if I asked him, listen, I need a lawyer for something. I got a guy. And all of a sudden he feels like a hot shot because he's able to give me this thing. Yeah, people are craving. People that craving that and that's why the videos and that kind of personal touch
So
just works for
tell me
everybody.
about a service type business. You know, you're a banker, you're mortgage, your real estate, your insurance. Mm-hmm. How do those service type people differentiate themselves in their message? And then how do they go about cold call?
So much I learned from like years ago going to networking meetings, but none more than this. There was a gal who was a financial planner. And when you go over to those networking meetings, they ask you for your elevator pitch and all that stuff.
Right.
This gal, it was so strong. She looked I'll look at the camera, okay? She goes, my name is blah, blah, blah. I forgot her name. I'm a financial planner, and my clients call me mom. I'm like, oh, that was, you don't have to even think about it. You know what you're getting right there. She created a feeling like that gal's going to take care of me.
That's beautiful.
That's who I want to work with.
That's beautiful.
And so it was someone works with her, and someone who works with her and has that feeling gives hey, I need a financial planner, and they get to refer that person. Yeah, that's going there. So if you're a new person in a service business and you're just hustling up,
right,
you got to make a lot of calls. It's fun, but you call for a purpose of getting a few clients, and then because of your service being so good, because of your extra attention, because of you being a mom or a dad to these people, a trusted advisor, you've earned the right to ask for referrals, and you've earned the right, and they've earned the right to give referrals. And so you work. They want to help you. I want to help my mom. I do. And
I do. I
so
love
give me the opportunity to. So make some connections for me on LinkedIn. make some connections with all those things, and let me contact them. All I need is a name. Let me contact them, because you know how I'm going to contact them? Hyper-focused, video. Somehow I'm going to get to them. Hey, I want to let you know, you don't know me, but we're both friends with Beecham, and he said that I should give you a call to talk about this. You may or may not have a need right now, but if you'd like to set up just a 15-minute call, I know a lot of people. I probably can help you out and help you whatever you do with your business. Click here.
Now, why would you do that if somebody referred you? Why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and call them?
I would. I'm a big fan of that. Listen, no one call. I cold call today. I love it. I think it keeps you strong. And by the way, if you want to learn a little bit about cold calling, let's do a little cold calling stuff, because it's actually probably the worst way to get customers, but it's the best sales training you'll ever get in your life. And it helps you define your message perfectly. And when you get good at it, you not only expect the first no and can work with it, you embrace the no. You look forward to the no. You even tell them to say no, and I'll share that with you. For 5 years, I had the same pitch for stocks. And it sounded like this. Hello, Mr. Beecham?
Yes.
You see, by the way, you see how important that was? I said, hello, Mr. Beecham, and I shut up, and you said yes. Now you've basically given me permission. Okay. Now I can talk to you, okay? And so that's my thing. So Mr. Beecham, you say, yeah, Mr. Beecham, hey, I wonder if you can help me. My name's Dan, and I'm with Smith Barney here in town. Real quickly, I was calling to see if you were interested in a 9% paying Fort Howard bond. That was my pitch. In 5 years, I never sold one Fort Howard bond. I just picked it out of the blue. I didn't care because I thought it was funny because they make toilet paper. And I said, I'm going to pick that one. It doesn't matter. Because who the heck is going to buy a stock from a stranger over the phone that you just met with this one? Who's going to do that? No one. So they're going to say no. And I was expecting the no. Aha! Du ligt de hint bagruben, which means something that my dad used to say. I don't know what it means. But I would say, as soon as they said no, I would say, got it. That makes sense. But let me ask you this. When you do invest, what's been successful for you in the past? And if they engaged me with that question, I had a chance to build a relationship. Mm-hmm. So if somebody is in the service business that you're talking about, by the way, #1 account opener, 5 years, every month. I was a terrible stockbroker. I mean, I can make you a little money. If you started with a lot, I could make it a lot. I was a terrible stockbroker, but nobody can open more accounts than me. I had to partner up with somebody. I bet that's Freedom Stew. This is this guy. He's a friend of mine from elementary school, lives in California, and is having trouble with his wife, so he calls me every day at this time. So now everybody knows about Freedom Stew. Okay. All right. Okay. Wait. So where was I? I was at cold calling.
Cold calling.
Yeah. So if you're in a service business and you want to get on the phone and bang around, and you should.
You're a real estate agent and you need to call people in a certain neighborhood.
You need to do it an hour a day. You need to do an hour a day. So I'm going to give you the one trick that'll change your life in cold calling. Okay. If I say, when I call you and I say hello, Mr. Beecham?
Yes.
And you say, how you doing? You know immediately that's a cold call.
Right.
In no circumstance whatsoever are you ever to say, hi, how are you doing? As soon as you say, hi, how are you doing, this is the dance. They put up a wall between you and they say to themselves, cold call, stay away. And they just do whatever they can do to build that. So it's what they do. It's the dance. It's like when I walk into a clothing store and somebody comes up to me and says, can I help you? And I say, no, I'm just
looking.
Yeah, that's the dance.
Yeah.
So if they want
I've been on that dance.
Yeah, so if they want to change that, What they have to do is don't say, can I help you today? What they have to say is, hey, have you been here before? Then I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what's going on. I'm stuck. No, I haven't been here for, oh, okay. And now there's their opening. So they need to break that little, break the dam. So in the cold call, I'm going to teach you the 7 magic words that open the door instead of close it. All right?
All right.
Pretty good, huh? Okay, so here it is. Ready? I wonder if you could help me. There's something about asking someone to help you.
Oh my God, it's huge.
They can't say,
I need your help.
Yeah, it works on everything except your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got
and your kids maybe.
Yeah, and I thought of this because I realized when you're on a call, when you're meeting a stranger, the slightest little awkward something, it just spreads you apart. So you have to be like gears, like totally meshing. It's totally psychological. So I learned this when I went into any department store. You walk in a department store, what do they say to you? Hi, how may I
help you?
You're literally letting them do their job. So when a receptionist answers the phone, hi, this is, name some place that I can market. Hometown Realty? What? Okay, Hometown Realty, how may I help you? Huh. Okay, hey, I wonder if you could help me. The reason I'm calling is, I mean, they literally, like, oh, you could feel them coming into the phone. And then you give your little, the scientific approach is just to stay in line with them. So if I call you, they say, how may I help you? You say, oh, I wonder if you could help me. Now in their head, they're thinking, who the heck is this? So you give them your name. Hi, I'm Steve Beecham. And now they're thinking, well, why are you calling? So you say, the reason why I'm calling. So you're like in their head. They don't know. You're answering every question in order. And you're in their head. So, hey, I wonder if you could help me. My name's Dan, and the reason why I'm calling is, and now they're listening. And you say, I work with companies just like yours who are trying to fix blah, blah, blah. Quickly, who would be the person I need to speak with in regards to that?
And it's probably them.
Yeah, and if they say, oh, that would be me, you're like, home free. That would be me. Well, great. Well, really quickly, did I catch it at a bad time? No. Okay, good. The reason I'm calling is I wanted to see if I can give you blah, 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 blah. How's that sound? You got to say, how's that sound?
How's that sound?
Yeah, because that's your little close. So the little kind of, I guess it's an acronym that I use. I call it the PAC method, P-A-C. So any objection that you're trying to overcome, and really a question is an objection. Any question you're trying to overcome, you can't just answer it. So because if you just answer, they're not. It's like when you tell your kids, hey, Matthew, go clean your room. They didn't hear that.
Right.
You have to say, Matthew. Now you got them. Clean your bloody room. And so the first thing I call the first thing is position them. So if you were to ask me what I do.
What do you do, Dan? Okay,
good question. Thank you for asking. Okay, now I got you. Now you're going to listen because I brought you in place. Then I'm going to answer it. I work with one of my clients. Okay, we work with doctors that have Medicare patients that are trying to take advantage of the new Medicare programs for more revenue. Okay,
Really?
That's what I do, right? And then you close it with, does that make sense? And now it's a complete thing. So how much does it cost? Oh my gosh, thank you for asking. Because now that you asked, I can give you an answer. It's $5,000. Let me ask you, is that more or less than you thought it would be? But if you just leave it with, it's $5,000, tension, 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 that's the old Bear Stearns way. The next person who talks loses. Remember those days?
I never got into that. I just could never do it.
Yeah, that was that whole thing. So I break that tension, and I say things like that. Yeah, so that's and cold calling. So cold calling is great because you learn all those things. You learn how to, and by the way, you don't get through the gatekeeper. The fact that people use that word gatekeeper ticks me off. If you do it right, the person who answers the phone, that's not a gatekeeper. That person's like my sales assistant. That person's just helping me get to the right person. You know,
That's a beautiful way of looking at it.
yeah, no, because think
It's
of
my new best friend, right?
yeah, think of the attitude that's in your head. I
Because
mean,
technically she does control.
yeah, but instead of picturing, somebody in a suit of armor with an axe and a spear in both hands, that you're trying to barrel through, I picture them as, what's Nightingale's first name?
Earl?
No, not Earl Nightingale. What? Florence Nightingale.
Florence.
Yeah, you're thinking about Florence Nightingale.
Florence.
Someone who just wants to help you, because that's their job. Imagine if there was nobody calling the receptionist, they'd have no job. What are they going to, what are they,
So tell me about, you got a coaching business, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so who's your best customer for that?
Yeah, it's coaching and consulting. My little tagline is any and all things legal to get you more customers. I'm hyper focused on the sales silo of your business. And so that's not marketing, though we do help with marketing,
Right.
and it's not operations, though we do help with operations. But I think the engine of every business is that sales silo.
Because nobody else gets to work if you don't sell it, right?
That's right, and I just associate well with those people, and it's not just the people, but also I have a keen understanding of buyers. People hate to be sold, but they love to buy,
Yeah.
and so, and I've developed a way in things that I teach of being able to only speak to, people that kind of want your stuff. So I'll do one. There's 3 words that repel people from you. I literally push them away, and people use them all the time when discussing their business. Those 3 words are I, we, and us. People just don't care. They're bored. If I start telling you all about me, you're done with it. They don't care.
Right.
But there's 3 words that attract people to you, and those words are you, yours, and y'all, especially here in the South.
Damn right it is.
Yeah, that's right. And so what you want to do, if you had to, I'll do it for you but if you want to explain your business without saying I, we, and us, you really have to think about the problems that you solve rather than the actions that you do to solve those problems.
Right.
So, for instance, if Steve, if you're like most of the companies that we do business with, you want like 3 things. You want to get more consistent customers coming through your door. You want those customers to be qualified for all the 3 things that they're there. And most importantly, you want your salespeople to be loyal to you, that they don't switch around all the time. Am I pretty close to the truth?
Oh yeah.
All right. So I had you nod your head 4 times without saying the word I once. And so I would say out of those 3, which one is more important to you? And then we have something to work with. And then we could start a conversation and go from there. But I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about your problems and then the solutions.
So when you're coaching those people, do you have sort of a set way you do things? Do you say, okay, this is kind of like the first week, second week, third week, we're going to take you through some techniques or whatever? Or do you have to just mold that based on where they are and what they already know?
Yeah, well, a lot of the clients that we work with, we're building up their sales teams too, and so then we could start. So it's it's the training and the whole process, and setting up their sales process. On really the biggest problem people have is they have pipe dreams instead of pipelines. There's some people that'll just never be customers. Most people just don't qualify. The first thing we do is help people qualify and disqualify their pipeline. It's the main thing, because people it's just 3 things that people need to be a customer. They need to have a need and a want. They need to have decision-making ability, and they need to have money. And if you don't have one of those 3 things, you're a good guy or gal, but we're not
a prospect.
We're not a fit right now. That's okay, but you'll go on my email program and we'll stay in touch with you forever, and you'll get videos now and again.
Does it amaze you how many people they talk to somebody and they just, as far as I'm concerned, they throw that person away. They never capture that data and stay.
It's such a shame.
It's just unbelievable.
It's
like life insurance guys. Most of these life insurance guys, give me 10 guys. They go see those 10 guys, call those 10 guys. If none of them do anything, they never talk to them again when they may buy life insurance next year.
those people who don't keep that will never be the guy.
Good point.
You
They're
know?
going to just hunt forever.
That's right. You know, the thing is who do you want to do business with? And it was one of my dad's things again. Danny, in this country, act like the person you'd like to become, and eventually you'll see that person in the mirror. If you want to be a great salesperson, be a great person. By your definition, you decide what a great person is. Be that, and that's who you'll attract. You know, I get, fortunately, I get calls, you know, fairly regularly from people that I haven't seen in a long time.
Because you had them on your database?
Yeah, well, or they see me, you know, on some sort of social
Social
media
media.
or what have you, or putting together an event, but they feel comfortable enough to just give me a call. That's one of the other things I tell people. You know, you talked about getting cold calls and getting spam and stuff like that. I answer them all. I love it. Well, they're out there doing, hey, and I say, listen, I'm not interested. But let me ask you this. When you are trying to build your sales team, what's been successful for you in the past? You know, I'll use it as a training tool for me.
That's true.
You know,
I guess I need to start saying, hey, do you need a mortgage?
Well, I had this. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I had if nothing else,
But they're usually in a state I don't do, so.
If nothing else, it gets them off the phone. You know, but I learned a long time ago from Jeffrey Gittimer.
Yeah.
One of my guys there, and I called him one day, and I got across somebody, and they said, okay, you good. And I got to him. I just called him out of the blue. And I learned from that that if you are exceptionally accessible, like you allow yourself, like you call me, I will answer the phone, or I'll call you back later if I can't talk right now. If you're exceptionally accessible, people you wouldn't imagine will be accessible to you.
Expand on that.
It means because you are the type of person that receives, because if something happens in the universe, I don't know what it is, but I've picked up the phone and I saw your board there. I've had Bob Berg on my show. I've had, you know, those things.
I need Bob Berg on my show.
Oh, he's a great guy.
I read all his books.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, he's a cool dude. I'll hook you up with him.
All right, I'll send him a video.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob.
That's it. I'll send
Me
him
and Beach.
Yeah. But yeah, so people are accessible to you. It comes back. It comes back. And it's a good way to live. And if you're really starting a career,
So it's sort of a reciprocity thing then.
that reciprocity thing is not just a throwaway.
No.
It's a law of nature. It's like gravity.
Mm-hmm.
It works. You feel indebted to somebody that does something for you. Mm-hmm. I make it a point when I wake up in the morning. I have this little. I have a little mantra, but I learned this from David Meltzer. I say thank you, and I don't say thank you to anyone or anything. I say thank you, and then what happens is your mind kind of just looks for something to be thankful for, and you'll find it. You know, my wife is next to me. You know, we're healthy. The kids are doing good. I got a terrible photo the other day of my 21-year-old daughter with a ring on her finger. And so I'm not quite ready to talk about it yet, but I'm grateful for that. That's why I don't want to talk about it. But you have this spirit of gratitude that can last the day. And it just, and that, you know, like you feel it now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that type of thing, and that comes across. So there's 5 values that I try to live by every day. And I think that if you're starting a business in a small town community, you have to somehow exhibit or envelop these types of values. And it's gratefulness, forgiveness, accountability, courage, and kindness. And forgivability, I want to stick on that for a second. You can forgive. People are going to wrong you. You're going to get screwed. Everybody gets screwed. But you're also going to screw other people. unintentionally, but it's going to happen. And you need to forgive yourself. Because if you start living in that fear that you're going to hurt somebody or you're going to make a mistake, you're not going to make that extra, you're not going to make that other call.
Right.
You think you're insulting somebody.
Yeah.
Accountability is strong. And then I think the most lacking value in today's society, and I think it may have been always, is courage. I mean, the courage to fail, the courage to look like an idiot, the courage to succeed, the courage to ask for the money, the courage to do what's right. And
Where's trust in all that?
yeah, this is just mine, you know. But I think they all.
I kind of almost think you have to have trust first
Well,
to do a deal with somebody.
trust
But
in,
I
in
guess
who,
your
in-
point
in-
is you got to have the courage to make the call to build the trust.
Yeah, I think trust goes both ways. When I said you're going to get screwed, it's because you've trusted other people.
Right.
You know?
Our people have trusted you.
Yeah, and people have trusted you, sometimes necessarily or not. But if you're, it's really tough for a young guy because you just don't have the years under your belt and that kind of credibility, so you have to kind of live off of somebody else's.
Yeah.
So, listen, I got people that hate my guts. That I probably screwed somehow in the past, you know, and they hold a grudge and all that stuff. And
But that's okay.
yeah, you know,
Just forgive yourself.
forgive yourself. Do the best you can. Apologize. You know, apologize. I'm sorry, but you know, some people get power with, you know, it gives them that power to be angry at you, or it gives them, and you know,
Yeah.
that's your problem, not mine.
What about speaking? You do a lot of speaking, right?
Yeah, not enough. I got to get back into it
How do you?
because I'm dang good.
How do you go about getting more?
What do you, right? Don't you think?
How do you go about getting more speaking engagements?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually doing a push right now.
So what are
And
you,
so
what are you doing? 'Cause
I
I need to push myself.
You pick a lane. So I'm going to be speaking at Remax here in Atlanta, doing a cold call thing and a video cold call thing for them. Really excited by good people there, and we're gonna put that together, and they'll be very helped by it. I should get some mortgage people in there too. But so pick a lane. So if in this case, I'm just doing real estate.
Right.
So I would call the other ones. I would cold call. First of all, find out who you know there. There's two ways to do. I know a lot of people now, so it's kind of, you know, it's different. So you can do that. But you know a lot of people, a lot more than me. You call on them, but I would give them some value first. Say, this is what I'd like to do for your team, and have a little 5-minute personalized video for their place. Like, these are the 5 things that I'm going to cover in this speech. It's highly interactive. Let me give you a quick sample. I'll pretend you're the only person in the audience, and this is what I'll do. And then you just put on a show. You know?
In advance.
Yeah, no, that's your pitch. That's your proposal.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
That's your proposal.
Okay.
You know? But it has to do, we try to make it all snazzy and fancy and the different words to say and everything. Call 100 people.
That's really what
That's
it
it. You
boils
call 100 people. Keep track. Keeping track is the greatest thing ever. It's one of those things. I read this book, The Gap and the Gain. Dean Jackson? No. Someone similar to that. The Gap and the Gain. Great book. And it hits very home because I've been dealing with a lot of executives. I got out of the whole corporate world. It's nuts. But with these executives in corporate world, as successful as they are, big producers, big money men, they're terribly depressed. And what it is I realize is they're living, it's like if their goal was to go from 1 to 30, let's say, I don't know why I picked 30, 1 to 30, and they got to 24. They are just unhappy because they're down 6. They failed. They didn't reach, I didn't make those 6. I failed. But if they could live in the gain, which is the other side of it, you were at 0 before, now we're at 24. And so you got to live in that world. And salespeople, the only way you can live in that world is by keeping track. Like 3 things good happened today. I don't know what they are, but 3 things in your life good happened today. When you go to bed at night, don't think about all the things that you didn't get done today. You think about those 3 victories, and you'll sleep better, and then plan for tomorrow, and you'll sleep better, you'll feel better, you'll live better, people will like you more. And salespeople live in a world that they get punched in the face all day long. All day long. Yeah, I constantly have to pump myself up. I have my little mantra. I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. I'm a force for good, force for God. Set the standard, defy the odds. I stand up, I take charge, I win. And then I walk in like a flipping animal. Now, I could say that really fast in my head in between each call. But that's to fight off, people saying, no, I'm not interested. Stop calling me. And I'm like, I'm a good guy. I feel like I just ruined that guy's day. Right. But I didn't. You know why? Because I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader, a force for good, force for God.
And people don't understand that internal conversation is everything.
You say things to yourself you wouldn't say to your worst enemy.
It's unbelievable.
You're stupid. You're ugly. You're fat. You start, what? Why can't you do that? Look how easy they have it. You're in this, no matter how good you have it.
It's crazy.
I know. The whole thing's
changing that conversation, though, has got to be a big part of being able to prospect better, right? You've got to change your conversation.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you don't really believe in your product, do something else.
Yeah, you got to go.
It's not worth it for your soul. You can't do it. You're literally, you're dying. You're killing yourself. You got to believe that what you got is going on, because then you have to have that end. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people are buying your energy. They're craving it. They're saying in their head, is that going to make me feel like this guy? Is that real? Is that all it takes? Video, email, is that, if I can do this, I get that. That's what they're saying. But I can't fake that. I wouldn't be honest with myself if I'm faking that. And I wouldn't do it.
So what else have I missed? What else do people need to know?
I think people need to know that the technology out there right now to make your life easier has the potential to make your career much worse. And what I mean by that is you cannot depend on software and easy access to everything. You need to build your muscles. And you build your muscles by talking to humans and having them say no to you. And
so that's not going away, that one-on-one. Eventually you got to get there.
And the faster you can get there, the better. And you get there the right way. You got to get there, and you got to get into the. I can't tell you how many salespeople I coach that, because of all this technology, it's so easy they'll call somebody on the phone and they're secretly hoping that they don't answer.
Why?
They're afraid to talk to people. They're afraid they don't believe enough in their product. They don't believe enough in themselves. Everybody's suffering from different saboteurs. It could be, mine could be pleasing people. I say yes to more things than I should say to. I've lost a lot of money saying yes. I've lost a lot of time saying yes, but that's my problem. I could be a pleaser, or
You're a superstar pleaser.
Yeah, or sometimes you can have people have inferiority complex. They're making a whole lot of money. They don't think they're really worth it, and they sabotage themselves that way. Anger could be something, frustration. Sometimes people get frustrated with something, screws up their whole day, week, month. The success of somebody could be as simple as shortening the time between dealing with that frustration and getting a fresh dose of oxygen. That's why I do my little mantra. That's my little. Sometimes I try to imagine myself putting on one of those outfits that they would wear in 1864 when they would go down 100 feet in the ocean. One of those those things.
Dude, people. I mean, I talked to so many. But especially since I've been doing this podcast and on my last book, I've spent a lot of time asking people about that, and I've been amazed. There's definitely a level that people that are talking to themselves in a positive manner are at a different level than those that are not talking to themselves. And then there's another level below that are the people that are talking to themselves negatively and bringing themselves down. But there's no question that most everybody that is better than average is having a more positive or a way to help themselves through the day, through whatever turmoil they're having. And the higher they are, the more powerful that conversation is.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I used to listen to like Norman Vincent Peale, back in the day and everything. And I'm always I read, people in our industry just read a ton of books. And so I'm reading all these books and I realized something. They all go back to the Bible.
Really
So they all go back to Proverbs. They all go back to living a good life, being a better person first. And so what is being a better person? It's probably
no lie, cheat, steal.
Yeah, and get some exercise. Just get out there, throw out some push-ups. By the way, with exercise, I remember as a kid, I used to hear all these old guys say, "You gotta exercise." I'm thinking, lighten up, fellas. And now I'm like, yeah. And so, but how you get started, because it's hard to get started with everything. It's just a little secret. Lower the bar. So like I wake up in the morning, I say, I'm going to do one push-up today. It's impossible to do one push-up. And so you wind up doing 20.
Dude, I'm going through that right now.
Yeah.
This week.
Really?
I got up to about 50. And then I got like a twitch in my back. My arm went numb. I thought I was having a heart attack. So I've had to wait for that, and I got to get my mind back into getting back in it.
But the whole thing is,
I'm going to do one push-up every day.
That's it. The whole thing is just to get
that
started.
First minute.
By the way, cold calling,
everything.
same thing. I'm going to make one phone call today. That's what I'm going to do.
Try.
I want to walk. I'm going to walk to the end of my driveway and back to.
What about following up with your current customer base? What do you do on that?
Oh my gosh, that's the greatest thing. It's so much fun. Do it every day. I mean, it's just
you call them, you email them, you send them love letters. What do you do?
Yeah, well, I've been a bit of each, but I have a thing that anybody that contacts me on LinkedIn that has their telephone number in there gets a phone call. So I'm going to call them and leave a message. Most of the time when you call people, they won't pick up.
Right, because they don't recognize your number.
Yes, leave a message. It's great. Hey, I'm calling you just because I haven't talked to you in a long time. I saw you out here. I was in the area and I thought about you. No need to call me back. No big deal. Just wanted to wish you a great rest of the day. Take it easy. Boom. Constantly you get fun. They can't not call you back.
It's unbelievable.
They can't.
I do it every day.
They can't not do it. It's fun and it always leads to business.
Always. And it's not necessarily that person, right?
No.
It's like we used to call that the mortgage gods would smile on
Yes.
you when you did proactive activities, right? So if you make your phone calls, it's going to pay off down the road. You just got to do it.
It's impossible. It's impossible not to. I was talking with that one person who deals with doctors, and so one of the clients I'm helping grow the business, how do you get in touch with doctors? And he called me yesterday. We had a good conversation with one. Hopefully it'll work out. And he said to me, he goes, you brought that thing to that conversation because it was to the point where they were making fun of me. They were ganging up on me. It was perfect. And he said, you brought that from an absolute cold call to that conversation? And I said, absolutely.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do. And that's what anybody can do if they want to. They're not afraid of it. make the first call.
Hey, everybody. Dan Jourdan, I never got to introduce him. Great guy. You know, I mean, you can tell he's a guru on selling, and he loves it. He just absolutely loves it. And so look him up. We call him the Deej.
Yeah.
But Dan's
Yeah,
out there.
it's
all
on the
over,
shirt.
Oh, he's got on his shirt.
Yeah.
He's all over social media. It's Jourdan, Jourdan.
Daniel Jourdan. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's right. It's French.
Yeah,
Right? Yeah. So, okay. So anyway, man, thank you for being here, brother.
That was awesome.
I really appreciate it.
That was great.
Till next time, y'all need a speaker. We're both open for business.
Yes,
See ya.
sir.